So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel. We are back with another Q&A, the series where we take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like on it if you want to. Make sure you are subscribed, but let's get into it. Here we go. Enjoy. So the first question of today from Justin Can't Think of a Name says, "Hey BOA, I have a question about the Transit Crew. Is there a fourth map about these characters? Because in the buried cutscene there are flashbacks about them fighting against hordes, but one of those flashbacks are of a flooded city. If it was a map, I'd call it High Waters. By the way, love your videos." So if we go back to the buried intro cutscene, this takes place in between the time of Die Rise just after they've left and Buried just before that. Just before they arrive, we see their journey getting from one place to another. And as you say, we see a few different locations that our characters haven't been to, at least not in maps. The only ones that we've had is Transit, Die Rise and Buried. Of course, DLC 4 and Black Ops 2 was Origins, so we only got to play 3 maps with the Transit Crew. Yet we can see here is a new location. On top of the truck, we have Malton shooting a gun. Down below, we have Stuhling. This is a location that we haven't been to, but we can see the Transit Crew have. And then again, further on in the trailer we see this. In the background there is a toppled over building which does resemble Die Rise. However, it doesn't look exactly the same. The skybox is different. There aren't meteors or rocks floating everywhere. So it's possible this is on the ground of Die Rise, or it could be somewhere else. We also see this location with the transit characters on top of a bus. To me, this doesn't look like Green Run. The bus is different. The windows aren't broken. They aren't boarded up. The shape of it isn't the same, and also the background with the trees don't look recognizable. So this could be a new location that they went to, but then again, it could be Transit. And the final unknown place that we see, as you mentioned in the comment, is this, a city half underwater. We've definitely never seen these characters fighting zombies here. We do also see in the beginning of the intro our crew in Egypt. In the background we have the pyramids and the Sphinx. Since we know Buried takes place in Angola, Africa, it's possible that on their journey from Die Rise, which is in China, to Buried, they passed through Egypt. In fact, it looks like that is the case. But unlike the other locations, they're just passing through, not fighting the undead. And so as you say, is there a fourth map? Are these maps that you didn't play? Why were the crew here? Well, we know after Die Rise, once the characters left, Maxis and Richtofen, these voices that were talking to them, telling them what to do. Well, after the crew completes the Easter egg in Die Rise for Maxis, since we know the Maxis side is canon, the crew, storyline wise, take his side in Transit, Die Rise and Buried. Of course we have 2 options, but Maxis is canon, so once the crew complete what they need to do at Die Rise and then leave, the voices of Richtofen and Maxis go away, leaving the Victis Crew to wander the earth. And in fact, it takes just over 2 months for the Transit Crew to get from Die Rise to Buried. In between that time, Richtofen and Maxis aren't talking to them. They are left alone to wander the earth, to try and make their way there, find out what they need to do for themselves. And as we can see, in that 2-month period, they travel to other locations such as this flooded city, this location here, this one. I can imagine many other places that we don't actually see in this intro they also went to on their journey, passing through other countries as they made their way from, like I said, China to Angola, Africa. It's a very long way, and let's not forget, whilst they were travelling there, they wouldn't have been alone. The zombies would have been attacking them the whole time, and that's what we can see happen in these different locations. Of course, we knew Richtofen was in control of the zombies. You might be asking, well, if Richtofen was in control, why would he have sent the zombies after the Transit Crew if he wanted them to do things for him? Well, the reason for that was so the Transit Crew didn't feel safe. If the zombies were to leave them alone and not attack them, Misty, Samuel, Malton and Russman wouldn't have a reason to follow these 2 voices. And if the zombies weren't chasing them, they'd no longer have to think about their next move, think about how they're gonna survive. And so the reason why Richtofen sent the zombies after the Transit Crew was to make them think he was their only savior. In order for them to survive, they had to listen to him, which it didn't exactly work because they sided with Maxis anyway. But these different locations that we don't play as in the Buried intro cutscene seem to be locations they went to in between the 2 months of Die Rise and Buried. And as we can see, zombies are there because Richtofen wanted them to keep moving. If there were no zombies, they would have no reason to follow the voices. The second question of today from Dr. Frost says, "Do you think we'll ever hear about Group 601 as you mentioned in your videos about NACT back in 2016? What do you think they do? Who are they? Would they contain the zombies or something to go against Group 935 as an enemy?" So Group 601 seems to be a mysterious thing in zombies. The question is, does it even exist? This has been around since World at War, since the very beginning, yet has only ever been brought up a handful of times. This all began back in World at War, where we first saw a loading screen of Die Rise, and you can see on it right here, there is the Group 935 logo, or it looks very similar to it, however, something is different. Inside, it says 601 instead of Group 935. So that was our first hint to Group 601's existence back in World at War, and then all of a sudden on BO1, there was this image that was found, and again you can see it says Group 601, there is the logo. In the background there is a nuke, some pylons or something there, I don't know what they are, and there's also some German text which translated says Stage 2 Strength Through Order. So that was interesting, and then apparently on Black Ops 3, I say that because I could never find this for myself, so I can't say for sure if this exists or it's something that's just being made up, I don't know, but you can find it online. It's supposed to be on quite a few different levels, like the Giant, but you can see again, it is similar to the last one where we have the Group 601 logo, the mushroom cloud. It's just like a newspaper clipping, I guess, or something like that. But this mysterious group has popped up 3 different times in World at War, Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3, yet nothing officially has ever been said about it. And so the question is, does it even exist? Is it a mistake, or is it a group that is out there that we just simply don't know anything about? This loading screen from Derice is slightly different from the original. Besides from the Group 601 logo, the lighting, the text, the layout is a little bit different to the original Derice loading screen, which makes me think this is an earlier version until they eventually changed it to the one we see today. So possibly Group 601 was a prototype for Group 935, maybe that's what they originally were going to be called, but at the last minute Treyarch decided to change them. That could be one case. Group 601 is just an old name for 935, or as many people believe, it is a mysterious group that we just don't know anything about. I mean, we can see from this image with the mushroom cloud and the antennae in the back, maybe they had something to do with this sort of stuff, whilst Group 935 were working on zombies, teleportation, weapons with Element 115. Could Group 601's objective have been to work on something else, maybe against or with Group 935? We don't know because we know nothing about it. It's really all speculation. And the big question is, does it exist? Yes or no? Let me know your ideas or what you think in the comment section below. I think it'd be really cool if in DLC 4, the last map, Treyarch somehow managed to fit them into the storyline and say, look, yes, this group was actually here all along, and they did have a backstory, you just didn't know nothing about it. So that's all I can tell you with that one. And the final question of today from Josh Ratcliffe says, will there be a Zombies Chronicles 2? That is the ultimate question. After all of this, after Black Ops 4 is finished, which we are very close to that, we should have DLC 4, I would guess maybe around September time, possibly October, but that's coming extremely close to the release date of Modern Warfare. I wouldn't think it would release after that game, so maybe just over a month from now, we will be getting DLC 4, but will we be getting a Zombies Chronicles 2 for this game? Now, we know Zombies Chronicles for Black Ops 3, I believe, released about 6 or 7 months after the next COD, which, if my memory serves me correct, it was Infinite Warfare. I may be wrong, but it released into the next Call of Duty, which should mean if we do get a Zombies Chronicles 2, if it's following the same date, we could expect it around May or June of next year of 2020, and that's if we do get one at all. We really don't know. If you take your minds back all the way to the conferences before Black Ops 4 was released, as they were showing the trailers for Blood of the Dead, someone in the crowd asked for a Zombies Chronicles 2, and I think it was Jason Blundell or Craig Houston who said, is there a need for one? And everyone in the audience replied yes. So I think they know we want it, and with how successful the original was, I think it was the best-selling DLC of that year, and actually maybe one of the best selling of all time, and obviously Activision would want to follow up on that, but then again, I don't think Black Ops 4 has been the success that they thought it would be, so maybe originally they did plan to bring it out, but after seeing the reactions to this game, maybe the player count, possibly they'll leave it to the next game because it won't be as popular. I really don't know. And then also the question is, well, what maps would we get in it? We already had a lot of the originals with the first one, so the only ones left really are the ones that we don't play as the Primus or Ultimus crew in, like Buried, Die Rise, Transit, Call of the Dead if that doesn't come back as a remake for DLC 4, and then the maps that we had in BO3 like Dryzen, Gorod, Zetsubo, Revelations, and that's really it. Possibly a few more that I've just forgotten, but there's really not too many maps left, unless they also add in the maps from Zombies Chronicles 1, so I'd definitely love to see it, although I think it'd be sometime next year if it was going to happen. Let me know in the comment section below, is Zombies Chronicles 2 something you'd want? But anyway guys, there we go, that is it for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do, drop a like rating if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. Thank you guys for watching anyway, make sure you are subscribed, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, goodbye.